like it. Trying to get this thing adjusted. There we go. That's gooder, I guess. Josh, what's up? Jim Dunn. I should have got me some soda before I sat down. I didn't do it. Michael, what up? I'm trying to get this dadgum thing situated. Situating good. Let me try that. That's better. Or maybe that's gooder. Oh. Oh. Freeze that thing up. No, you didn't beat Jason. He's the first one to come on and say something. Or Josh did, rather. Joshua, what up? I know what part of the country you're in if it's 720 something. 10 people and 4 thumbs up. What's up with that, folks? Hit that like button on your way in. Let me get my glasses. Brandon, what's up? One of my other guys is sitting in Atlanta somewhere. Oh, you're still at Athens. It's the thing about them chicken plants. Yeah. Yeah, we had, I had one of our old guys call me that had got mad and quit this company a while back, a couple of years ago. He's actually the one that had told me about this company. We met out in California. And he quit a year or so back. Called me today and told me he was fixing to come back. Then he had to get off the phone because somebody else called him. He called me back a few hours later and said, scratch that, I ain't coming back. Some of the home time that this company is putting on him is not agreeable to what he needs. You know? So, welcome to trucking. And that's the thing, folks. If you're driving for a company and they got certain rules and you get upset and quit, if you come back, guess what? If the rules change, you got to go by the new rules, not the old rules. You ain't grandfathered in because you used to drive. So, Venom, what's up? I had someone else that was shooting me some messages. Comments actually. Folks, you got to understand, all you new drivers out here that this is your first year or two, this is a slow time in trucking for all of trucking. Oh yeah, there's a few companies that will do okay and keep you running, but the majority of the freight this time of year is slow. Period. So if you're sitting around and you're normally not, don't be surprised. And heading out to New Mexico, what a deal. What a deal. Sorry, if it took them 3.5 hours to load, wait until you see how long it takes them to unload it. It's still Walmart lumpers. But a couple of things, folks, is I can't tell you if you should leave your company or not. I can't tell you if you should look for another job or not. That's all on you. You know your situation. You know your needs. You know, I don't know none of that. So, see right there, folks. Michael's saying, finally got a load of pork after 3 days wait. It's just that time of year. So, well, I can tell what kind of company you're with just from you calling him a driver leader. You know, to be a leader, that means you have to be able to do the job. And I guarantee you, them driver leaders, they probably ain't even seen the inside of a truck, much less know how to lead. Guess what? He's a dispatcher. One of them things that I have a pet peeve about. All their names they try to use instead of a dispatcher. They're a damn dispatcher. Yeah, exactly, Brandon. Had someone trying to lecture me today about taxes and stuff on this upcoming filing season for truck drivers. I told them I'd wait until I talked to my tax people. I've read all kinds of stuff on the internet. That's way both ways. Until I talk to my tax person and they tell me what I can and can't do, I'm going to ignore everything that I hear from other truck drivers. Till about March, well, the majority of us will start picking up in February. Right now, everybody's getting ready for their end of the year inventory and all that good stuff, and recouping from the holiday rushes and non-rushes. And well, Venom, that's easy to say, but to find a company that'll keep you going, they're all going to tell you how they're going to keep you going. This is just part of knowing trucking. You have to know that we have slow times. That's like in hauling the boats. I know that in June, they shut down for remodels. When I was hauling cars, I knew that in the middle of the summer, they shut down for remodels, you know, or they'd start getting it online for the new stuff. It's just a matter of getting to know trucking, and this is part of what I tell these people that start hollering they want to be an owner-operator and they've only been driving a year or two, and I tell them, you don't even know trucking yet, you know, and then they hit a slow time like this and they start tripping. Well, damn it, you should have knew this was coming. You should have been saving back some of that big bucks you was making during the summer. You have to be ready for this stuff. This is why I tell you, you got to have a big bankroll if you're going to be an owner-operator. A bunch of bills still keep coming in. Here in a minute, I'm going to have to chase down more Mountain Dew. Well, Josh, you're going to have a lot of that, dude. And I don't tell anybody that they should just quit. It's been my experience as I got older, because when I was young in the industry and young in age and still had my temper, yeah, I was one of them. I would have got mad. This stuff would have ate at me, and I would have found another company, and I'd been gone and not said a word. That really ain't your best avenue, because you wind up with another company that is eventually going to do the same thing to you. I'm telling you, if you ain't getting the right miles, and Josh, if you're getting 300 miles and have set until the next day, I'm telling you, you need to talk to your dispatcher. You need to tell them this ain't cutting it. This ain't, and don't threaten to quit them. You know, don't call them being abusive. Don't call them cussing and acting the idiot. Don't act like you're on the CB or on the internet. Call and talk to them like a decent person. And you talk to the dispatcher. If it does not improve and stay improved, then you call and talk to their boss. After you talk to their boss, if it still doesn't improve, that's when you just go ahead and start looking. Because you done gave them two shots of trying to fix it. But a lot of times, if you talk to them, they can fix it. It's kind of like all these bleeding heart liberals that are crying and whining and screaming all this nonsense in the street. And the media wants you to think it's a whole bunch of them, and it's really like 2% or less of the people. But they want you to think it's a majority, so they really give them the attention. It's the same thing in your company. Them drivers that are whining and crying and screaming and kicking and acting the sissy, they're the ones that's getting the loads and getting the attention right now. If you're just being compliant and sitting back and thinking they're going to fix it, they're going to just, okay, he's easy one. Let's leave him in the shadows and let's go ahead and take care of the squeaking wheel. You ever heard that old saying, a squeaking wheel gets the most grease? Well, you're living it in today's politics and you're living it in today's trucking. Normally it picks up in February and towards the end of February. It depends upon what you haul. Like Tanker just said a while ago, his picks up in March. You know, most of them don't last that long. Usually January is a slow time and it'll start picking back up in February. Depend upon your customers and your lanes. You're exactly right, Brandon. He's telling you a big bankroll don't start owner-operator or lease purchase being broke. Have some money in the bank and have a good credit line. And remember, these truck companies are going to do their best to talk you into doing that lease purchase deal because they don't want the headaches that they're wanting to push off on you. Good evening, Pa. Yeah, Jim, there used to be a good truck stop just down the road from it. Actually, right there in that same area, there's a NASCAR truck stop, an official NASCAR truck stop. I've seen an old boy, actually, he was my brother, my blood brother, one that I don't claim anymore. He had been unemployed for about 3 or 4 months. His family was not doing good financially. And one of his first paychecks, he stopped in there and he bought himself one of them $400 number 24 leather jackets because he deserved it. His family still wasn't taken care of. He really went down in my books. That ain't what a man does. Yep. You're exactly right, Brandon. What up, Brian? Doing fine, buddy. Oh, yeah, I've seen it. No. I've seen it once. I thought it was goofy as hell. I'm really not into that kind of slapstick comedy and the way his kids are acting. They would put me in jail because I would have wore them kids out. So, but that's me. I don't find that stuff funny myself. But evidently it was a success, so they didn't count on me to bankroll it. 15 people, 9 likes. I've been watching that. How come y'all ain't hitting the like button? Oh, I'm gonna go get me some soda while you find the like button. Thank you. One of you found it. Oh me, oh my. Brandon, I got good news and bad news for you, buddy. What up, Big Mike? Yeah, new restroom sign, huh? All gender. What up, Cricket? I made chili today, Brandon. Bad news is you wasn't here for it. Good news is that it didn't turn out that great. It was okay. I tried the new seasoning in it. I didn't go with my old style. Me and Grandma both said, it's edible, but you made better. That's what happens when you make it different every time, right? Sean, what's going on, buddy? No, you've been hiding out. I see every once in a while you on Facebook and whatnot. I'm just kicking back, chilling at the house. Dispatcher sent me a message, around noon today. He said, could you keep me updated on your deliveries? You're not showing up on my computer. I sent him a message. I said, the truck's in the shop. Oh, yeah, right. Uh-huh. Nah, she don't want to get me that excited. She won't do it for you. You just got to work, huh? Yeah, I've been off work since Thursday. Oh, well, no, actually, I've asked her more than once to cut that hair, and she won't do it. I had to go to Walmart, let one of them girls cut it. Oh, and I ain't bald. I still got some. I left about half inch, 3/4 inch on top. Told the girl 0 to 1. Then had her take more off. Yeah, you had to use the kiosk thing. Yeah, that's why I went ahead last night while we did that live stream. I was cooking some oven baked or oven barbecued chicken in there. Tomorrow I got some pork steaks I'm going to cook. I just hate paying the prices out there. I don't like the fast food. It's bad for my health. I'm fighting health issues now because of all these years on the road. Oh, that's a bad scenario, Jim. Well, if you'd called me, I would have told you what to do, buddy. Because I have been there. Not that long ago, matter of fact. Like 3 weeks ago, I had something a whole lot like that. Kingpin went over the top of the fifth wheel. Oh, aggravated the dickens out, because I'm experienced enough, I know better. But it was one of them deals where I backed under and it felt right, and I went ahead and backed up, and then plop, I was like, oh man. Your airbags wouldn't dump because your kingpin was latched onto your fifth wheel. When it went over, your kingpin's here and your fifth wheel's here, and the kingpin won't let the fifth wheel, the airbags dump, and so you needed to pull forward just a little bit, so the airbags would have went down. Then you dump your airbags, get you something raised up back of that fifth wheel, and see if if it will go down enough in the front for it to go under that kingpin. If not, then you start looking for wood, and you pile up a bunch of wood in there wherever you can to get some lift on stuff, and then you hit your airbags and air them back up and let it pick that trailer up, and you jack it down some more. Of course, if it was an empty trailer, you could have just got on it and cranked on the empty on the low side and picked that trailer on up. So, I gotta get that wallet out of my pocket. Oh. Yeah, that can be a pain in the butt. Yep, exactly, Brandon. You'll hold it for me, my wallet. You're going to pay the bills that are in it, 'cause it ain't dead presidents. I keep them in my pocket, in my front pocket. Thank you very much. Both of them. Oh, goodness. The stuff that your wife pays. The spring, winter just now hitting, Josh. JJ, what's up? Well, that depends, Mitch. Oh. With our trucks, you never know what truck dropped it. Sometimes you got to crank it up. You know, so until you start backing underneath it, I always start backing underneath it. I'll get that fifth wheel started underneath it, and then I'll stop and get out and see what I need to do. Yep. Yep. Oh. This phone did its own update the other day, and it's been running down pretty quick. I don't know why. 20 people and 12 likes. What's up with that? You can't run 800 miles a day legally. Well, and that's what I was saying. He said he had a empty trailer, but what I was saying to your comment is that there ain't no need of just automatically starting to crank up or down on it until you start backing underneath. We got some Volvos that are local trucks, and when they drop them, that trailer's way too damn high anyway. So I don't start cranking on a trailer till I back underneath it to see what's there, see what I need to do. Jason, what's up? Well, actually, most states that's illegal to cut the antlers off of a roadkill. Yeah, Josh, it's gonna bite you in the ass too with that know-it-all stuff. No, JJ. Josh, you're wrong, youngin'. You're letting your inexperience gonna get you in trouble. You need to be listening to what the older drivers are saying instead of assuming you know what you're doing. I've been out here damn near 30 years, and I tell you that I've had it happen to me recently. That should be setting off alarms that you ought to be listening, not sitting there telling me that you know what you're doing. You think we don't know how to hitch your trailer up? Well, our Volvos, I've talked to the drivers and they do that, and they're still too high for these Peterbilts. It's just a higher truck, higher tires, and the whole bit. Oh, and for you that are wanting the t-shirt, Joe went in and checked on that Remember God Loves You and So Do I t-shirt. And that t-shirt outfit had even lost everything he had done, so he went in and redid that one today. And it's better than the one that they lost, in my opinion. So that one is up today. It's an awesome shirt. Any Christian men out there or Christian drivers out there, if you go look at it, you'll like it. Oh. And I've got a troll that's been going through and hitting thumbs down on all my videos again. I really don't understand people like that. They ought to get a life. You know, they really ought to get a life. 22 people and 14 likes. Somebody just hit it. Thank you for that number 14. All right, JJ, enjoy your game. Yeah, that's how I do it too, Brandon. I actually dolly it down until it just barely touches the ground. And then sometimes I go up a crank or two, sometimes I don't. I dump the airbags. Because I know all of our Petes are the same. So the Petes will be able to get under it. Oh, I know, Paul. It just aggravates me. And I tell you all that so that if you haven't went through and hit the like button, it helps me out a lot if you do. Oh. Well, the way it is I'll have, say, 150 people, 150 views on a video, and I'll only have maybe 4 thumbs up, then 1 or 2 thumbs down. That really hurts my averages. And that's why they do it. They know it hurts your averages. All right, he should drop in here in a little bit. I didn't tell him I was going live, but oh yeah, they'll go on. They get bored easily. But then another one to come in. That's how they work. Well, at least it's 18 and 18 now. A couple people left. 4 of them did. I almost went off on one of my preaching videos today, but I didn't do it. I'll save it for next Sunday. No. Well, me and Grandma was watching that America Got Talent. We normally don't watch it at home. I watch some of the stuff out there on the road with it. But they've just started a new season of the champions from around the world type stuff. We sat in there and watched the first night of it. I hear you, Brandon. You'll take the preaching anytime you can get it, right? Oh. Another fun and exciting day. Yeah, we always need it, man. Yeah, a couple of them was pretty cool. Oh, the dog? Yeah. And that dog's getting pretty old, too. I remember when she first came on and did her deal and didn't make it. So, I liked her where Simon made the comment to that sing and dancing group, I don't know, there was half a dozen of them. I don't remember their name. Justin or something, I forget. But he'd made the comment that they had invited all of the winners back, and a whole lot of the winners wouldn't come back because they was afraid they would lose. You know, they didn't want to be the winner of the first one and then lose the one for the top performance of the world. They ain't got much confidence, do they? No. But anyway, we watched that AGT, and Grandma, she said, "You gonna do a live stream?" And I said, "Yeah." And she says, "All right, good night." Her and her puppy dog went in there, closed the door, and abandoned me. She watching TV in the bedroom. Oh. You know, I was talking to a driver today, the one I was talking to about this company. And like I was telling him when he decided he wasn't coming over here after all. Like I told him, and I tell you new drivers that are having issues, I've said it before and I'll say it again, in this industry, there are so many different jobs. You just have to find what's right for you. With this company, what they're doing for me right now works for me. What they're doing for Big Mike on there, it works for him. For that other driver that's wanting to come back, and they're implementing new rules on him because he's coming back, then it ain't right for him. If they'd implemented the old rules that he had quit at, then he could work with it. But they ain't going to do that. So bottom line is you have to find what's right for you in this industry. It's such a wide open industry, and there's so many things that you can do. Oh, sitting at the Crystals, been there. Oh, I doubt it, Josh. That's in Athens, Georgia, he's talking about. Or up by Athens, actually. It's a good hour. Depends upon where you're at in Atlanta. If you're over there at the Petro, it's an hour and a half or more. The TA's closed, so you only got the Pilot and the Petro. Actually, there's two pilots in Atlanta now. Yeah, belly bombers. That's what we call the White Castles, is belly bombers. Crystals is basically the same thing. Oh, they shut that TA down years ago. The one in Atlanta. That had been 15 years ago now, I guess. Oh, the pilot? Which pilot? The one over there on the east side of town. Well, that's nothing but an accident waiting to happen there. The one on the north side, it ain't a whole lot better. Well, yeah, that's what we was talking about doing, Josh. Is you crank your dolly gear down from an inch above the ground all the way to just barely touching the ground. Then you hit your airbags and sit there a minute and let it drop down, and then you pull out. That way the next driver goes to back underneath it with his airbags up, and it will back underneath there, and it will take some of the weight off of the landing gear, and it won't be so hard for him to crank up. But you still need to just barely back underneath that trailer, where you know your fifth wheel has started to go under it real good, and then you stop and get out and look, because you don't know if the other guy cranked the hell out of it. If he had a tall truck, you don't know. So best policy is to back underneath it, know that your fifth wheel started under it real good, get out and look and see what you need to do. You don't have an airbag drop, huh? Well, if you don't have an airbag drop, best thing for you to do is just go ahead and dolly it down till the landing gear touches the ground, and then give it maybe one crank, and then start easing forward. What you have to be careful of is you need to know your truck, because a lot of times, if you don't know your truck right, it's going to go too far down, and the kingpin will catch on that crossbar across the back. So it's a matter of knowing your truck. So you're going to have to play with that a little bit until you get to know what you have to do. And usually the dropping them is not the problem that we was talking about earlier. It's the backing underneath of it. Yeah, some companies are cheap. What we was talking about is you go to back underneath one, and it's just an inch or two too high, and that kingpin will ride right over the top of your fifth wheel and drop down in front of your fifth wheel. That makes for a bad day. Well, when they gonna have your load ready, Brandon? Any idea? Well, your bag shouldn't have to reinflate. If you don't have a airbags to drop, if you don't have a airbag switch to drop them, your bag should not inflate or reinflate. They should already be inflated. Yeah, that's just part of training them, Brandon. And they're not putting them on there because drivers don't know how to use it. They're putting it on there because it saved them $100. What you're saying ain't making a lot of sense to me, Josh. Your airbags ain't got nothing to do with your wheel spinning, buddy. Your airbags have got to do with carrying that load. No, you're right, Brandon. That's what I've always said. These modern day trainers need to be trained. But you know, these mega carriers, they get a driver out there and they get 6 months, 8 months under their belt. And to them, as if they've got a pretty good record on making deliveries, then they make them a trainer. Their whole thing is just getting a load there. Be able to do the paperwork right so the company can get paid. Right, I know what he's talking about, but that leveling valve still don't have nothing to do with the tire spinning. That might be what he'd been taught, but that has to do with you being level. Yep, you're right, Paul. But yeah, Josh, the answer to all of that is real simple. Dolly down till your landing gear gets on the ground, and then give it 2 or 3 good cranks. Then ease out of it. When you feel it get past the kingpin, get past the fifth, you stop. Barely ease on out a little bit. You'll feel the trailer slide down off the fifth wheel, and you stop. Then you ease on out from underneath it. Don't be one of these that dolly down and then just pull out real quick. When you do that, that's where if you misjudged it and that trailer slams on the rail of the truck and that kingpin catches that cross member back there between your rails, then you done tore stuff up. If you do it in them stages, like I said, if it slips down like that, you're not going hard enough to do any real damage. Then all you got to do is barely back up, get that kingpin off that cross member, and dolly it on up. Hard part will be dollying it up. Then you ease on out. Exactly, Paul. That's my thing. All these years I got, and I still get out. I must be boring tonight. We dropped one from 22 down to 12. I must be a boring individual. And Josh ain't said nothing, so I guess I made him mad. I hurt his feelings or something. Oh, there you go. Good boy, Josh. Ain't no need getting mad, man. Just take it all in. Learn. That's what this is about, dude, is learning. Hard love, man. Hard love. No sugar added. Oh, good old East Point. I tell you, that's Americode you went to. I don't miss them reefer units. I ain't gonna lie, I don't miss them at all. I'm glad Larry got rid of the rest of these. And call me tomorrow, Brandon. I'll tell you what some of that policy stuff is over here. But that old boy was having a problem with. Armanda, huh? Don't know them, but they're a new place. Hopefully I don't get to know them. I hear you. Well, don't say that you won't get back in it, Brandon. Say that you hope that you don't get back in it. I've done learned that nonsense about saying, I ain't going to do that no more. Then next thing I know, I'm right back into it. Oh, yeah. I was reading a deal this morning, I guess. Some company, a broker, did a poll. And they were doing a poll with companies that lease or get their freight. And they said reefer units was the number one, don't want to go back there type place. Grocery warehouses. Walmart led that list. That. Kroger was on there. Aldi's. All the big boys. And all the same thing, that waiting time over there, killing their electric clock. They don't care about our digital clock. Yeah, I did it for a lot of years, Paul. No. But when we had paper logs, it wasn't quite as bad. You still had to wait all them hours. But tear that page out. Let's start this day over. Well, there ain't no such thing as what gauges are a must. It's a matter of personal preference. That's like on this plastic Pete that I drive. It does not have an alternator gauge. That drives me nuts. I'll be having issues, and I've talked to one of our maintenance guys before when I was having issues, and tell him that I was smelling the sulfur, the rotten eggs, which is a sign of a bad battery. And he's like, well, what's your alternator gauge say? Dude, I ain't got one. Oh, yeah, all trucks have one. Dude, I'm not stupid. I know what my gauges are. I don't have one. I ain't never seen a truck without one. Well, you've seen my truck, ain't you? Yeah, then you've seen one, don't have one. I hate it when people talk to me like that. I don't believe it, Brandon. Too many of these mega carriers, they're not worried about the driver's times. Yeah, I remember them waiting lines at the payphones too. What's up, Byron? Doing pretty good overall. Nope. Sure don't, buddy. But when you get closer to specking out a truck, have a paper and pen handy and come on and ask in another live stream, and you'll get a whole bunch of different people's opinions. Well, exactly, Brandon. That's like I was telling someone the other day when they asked about why the brokers were cheating owner operators out of so much money on the loads. Well, they're not. That's part of how it works out here. Supply and demand. How many trucks are looking for loads and how many loads are there? When they know the loads are less than the amount of trucks waiting for them, that's their chance to gouge the companies and vice versa. When there is a lot more loads than there is trucks, then the trucking company knows that's the time to gouge the brokers. That's how it's played. Supply and demand. Yeah, actually you do. I've always kept hold of mine until I got paid. Oh. And some companies require you to keep them longer than that. But I assume that you take pictures of your bill, text them in, or do you do that TransFlow stuff? But yeah, you need to have a copy of them until after you've been paid. Now then you don't have a copy. You need to keep a copy of it until you're paid. And it wouldn't hurt to keep it for a couple of weeks after you've been paid, just in case the company loses theirs for whatever reason. Can a fifth wheel warp? If it does, is it dangerous? No, a fifth wheel should not warp. If a fifth wheel would warp for some reason, then yeah, you need to put that truck out of commission and get that fifth wheel replaced. Yeah, been there and known to do that too, Paul. Well, he's a company driver, Brandon. You're not. Well, yeah, I guess you are a company driver now, aren't you? That's right. Well, that's how your truck and trailer set, man. That shouldn't be because of your fifth wheel. But I would be investigating and find out what's up. Oh, I had one come off, but it was due to actually, if you know the inner workings of a fifth wheel, what it boils down to is there's one spring in there that holds all that nonsense together. And that spring had went bad on mine and it released it. It actually had released it a couple weeks earlier, and I'd caught the trailer because it did it when I was hooking up, and I tried telling that Yankee about it, and he commenced telling me how I just hooked it wrong. I hadn't hooked it right, and all this nonsense. Then about a week later, it dropped that container, which turned over on its side and took out a telegraph pole by the railroad tracks. That was not a good day. Well, best thing you can do, Josh, is when you hook up to them, tug on it, then take your flashlight and get up underneath there and look and make sure that that is crossed again. Then I'll get my rig to rolling, a half a mile an hour, whatever, but where it's rolling, then I'll use my chicken brake, which is just the trailer brake, and I'll hit it and let it pop me to a stop. But to this day, I check it 2 or 3 different ways, simply because it's too easy for something to go bad there. And if you're worried about somebody pulling that pin release on you, when you stop, set your trailer brakes, tug against that trailer, and then set your tractor brakes, and then release your trailer brakes. Don't set your trailer brakes in the wintertime. Only in emergencies, because that's when they freeze up. Down to 10 people. You don't have a chicken brake on your trailer? Or for your trailer, I should say? That's about the cheap ass money you're with, ain't it? Did they give you a steering wheel with that damn truck? Starting to wonder if he's even got a driver's seat. I hear you, Paul. That's what I'm saying, Brandon. What is he driving? It pops sometimes. What, that fifth wheel? And you told me earlier it's Schneider, so I don't know. Well, damn. Almost sounds to me like it's an old one that has the adjustable nut on it, and it might just need a good adjusting. Yeah, he's definitely not in a real truck, is he? He ain't even in a cheap truck. He's barely in a truck. Well, you're shut down right now. You said that you'll shut down earlier, and we're going to be shut down tomorrow. If you're in Atlanta, you're right there by a big Schneider yard. Go there and have them check out your fifth wheel for you. Tell you what you told us and get them working on it. That's what you're sounding like, just a piece of meat in a seat. No, Warner sucks. I wouldn't even be thinking about it. I'd be going over there getting in line because I guarantee you they got the line. And then I wouldn't be taking off in the morning until they check my stuff out. But I'd be telling them what you said. You see daylight on the right hand side of that stuff, and there's a lot of popping noises. Exaggerate a little bit. Not a whole lot, just exaggerate. Don't lie. Exaggerate just a little bit. Get them checking it out. And document them checking it out. Because that way, if it does go south on you down the road, you got documentation that you reported it. They checked it out and told you you was good to go. You did your part. You had it checked out. But you need to be able to prove you did your part and had it checked out. And there's ways that you can do that. You just got to think about it. It might boil down to you have to shoot a message to your dispatch, tell them I'm putting my truck in the shop, getting the fifth wheel checked out. I'll let you know when I get it out. Then in the morning you can send them, or whenever they get done, you can send them another message. Shop said the fifth wheel was okay, but make sure you're mentioning the fifth wheel in them messages. If you're doing that on Qualcomm, then at least you have some kind of history of it. Yep, exactly, Brandon. And then you got to learn how to play the game against them. As they told us in the military, if it ain't in writing, it didn't happen. Oh, that could be a lot of different stuff. For one thing, you shouldn't be dropping off the side of the road. But when you do, look at it. You got springs, you got airbags, you got that fifth wheel. You got a lot of stuff that you just threw out of kilter. So yeah, something's going to make a noise. The easiest way to fix that is quit dropping off the side of the road. And I'm not trying to be mean about it. That's just the truth. Yeah, I've seen that pothole. It don't matter. Some of them get pretty deep. Totally understand. I mean, that could be your front end. Look at all the stuff you got in that steering up there. You know? And them potholes and dropping off the edge of the road and stuff, that's what messes up your steering and your tires. Yeah, right. Read what Brandon said, Josh. If you ain't careful, you'll hear more than a pop. You'll hear sirens. Oh, and any type of siren ain't good. Whether it's the pole behind you or the ambulance or the wrecker, they're not good noises. Well, then they need to check your steering. You got something going out in your steering, probably from dropping it off the edge of the road and hitting too many potholes. And being you're driving for Schneider, who knows how many people drove that truck in front of you. Well, regardless how thin each brake pad is, if they're adjusted right, they still should be stopping you the same. Yeah, that truck's gonna get him in trouble, Brandon. You're right. Well, are you documenting them looking at it? Sometimes you have to fight them to take care of their own equipment. Unfortunately, too many companies, you have to fight with them too much to take care of their equipment. And if you watch some videos where I'm talking about in the old days of trucking, which I had one old man that he said he thought me calling the 90s old days was funny. But that was part of what brought around a lot of the new laws and CVSA stuff and all that, was because we had to literally fight the companies to fix their trucks, keep them safe and properly fixed. And it was a nightmare on the drivers. And if you told DOT, well, I told them about it and told them to fix it, DOT would look at you and say, well, why are you driving it? If you knew it was bad, why are you driving it? You know, and you're like, if I don't drive it, I ain't got a job. Oh, we'll get another job. Like it was that easy, you know. But, and you're going to have to fight some of the same stuff evidently with Schneider, which is a crying shame. I didn't think Schneider was like that, or else you're not being forceful enough. And the bottom line is you can always contact safety. Safety is always telling you not to drive something that you don't think safe. And that is one of the best ways to get a company's attention. Shoot a message to that dispatch, whoever your dispatcher is, and tell them, I've got noises out of my front end that is scaring the hell out of me. I think it's a safety issue, and I'm going to shut the truck down until the shop clears it. You know, and that way you're getting stuff in writing, and you're calling their hand on it. That shop don't want to fix anything that they can keep from. Or one thing, they have a budget that they have to work inside of, and the company's always on there. Well, why'd you fix that? That would have lasted another 20 hours. You know, yes, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but still. I'd put it in there and make them fix whatever's wrong with it, dude. How long you been driving now, Josh? Seven months? Yeah. If it's pulling that bad, you're saying you hit the brakes like that and it's pulling you to the left lane, then yeah, you've got some real issues. I myself, I'd be making them fix it. I know as a new driver, it's a little harder on you, but I know me. I'd be making them fix it. And I wouldn't take any of their little nonsense excuses for it either. And they're going to tell you all kinds of silly little stuff that it could be. I'd make them fix it. Oh, you shouldn't have to be fighting it and holding it in your lane. If you're hitting the brakes and it's pulling you to the left lane and you're in a slow ass Schneider truck, that's going to get you in a wreck, buddy. It surely will. 'Cause I've never seen one that gets better on that pulling nonsense. They only get worse. And it could be several different things. It could just be the alignment. It could be the tire going bad, where it just wore bad tread on it. It could be some of the rods and all that other stuff in there. A quick pop and a pull. Well, if it's a quick pop and a pull, then it's not the tire. That's something in your front end. And you don't want to wait until in the morning to do it. Evidently today you are. I've only got a couple of you Canadians on here. I got a couple of Australians and a couple of Canadians, and I got one from Ireland or somewhere on here. I don't see him too much. We're on two different schedules. I don't even know how many countries I'm being watched in anymore. At one time I was in like 27 countries or something like that. Maybe 32, I forget. Josh, Brandon's talking to you. You need to read what he's telling you. And he is telling you the truth. A couple of rednecks pop. Yeah, they won't even miss a beat while you go to prison. And if you kill somebody, it's involuntary manslaughter and all kinds of stuff. And that's real in today's trucking. You've seen all the signs out there on the road. Involved in an 18-wheeler accident? Call me. And that company will throw you under the bus quick, fast, and in a hurry. You ain't nothing to them but a chunk of meat in a seat. What do you have what do they call that stuff on your Qualcomm? A micro. Have you got a micro that you can send to maintenance, telling them what's up with your truck? That would be a record for you right there, a means of keeping a record. And if nothing else, I'll tell you same thing I've told a lot of people. And it does work in court. Get you a little notebook. And the only thing you put in that notebook is your correspondence with the company. And you put the time and the date, who you talked to, what you talked to them about, and the whole bit in that notebook. And if you do wind up going to court, you can present that to your lawyer, and that will be admitted in court as official documentation. So don't start putting stuff in there about your truck and corresponding with your company, and then on another page you got some love letter to your girlfriend. Don't do it. That notebook is only for reference to the company. And that way, if they don't fix it, you have a record. Yeah, I'm sure they have a write-up sheet. Fill it out with all this information and make sure you get your copy. And keep your copy forever, or at least until you're out of that truck. I would consider keeping it until I was done with that company. Because if you keep it, if you write this truck up and stuff, then you get another truck. You might have to prove that they have a history of not wanting to fix the trucks. You might have to prove that you have a history of telling them this is bad, fix it, and they don't want to fix it. So if you get write-ups and stuff, you need to keep that stuff until you're no longer with that company. Well, that's just like your miles and stuff. If you, I don't know if it's with the new IRS rules and stuff. We used to be, you could write off any unpaid miles. And if you kept a copy of the dispatched miles, which should be your paid miles, versus the odometer miles, which will be anywhere from 10 to 20% more than what you get paid for, you could write that off. If you keep track of your unpaid working, like when you made it to Atlanta and they didn't have you a load, did they have you go shuttling trailers and stuff for them? And that just pays chump change if you keep track of that. Yeah, I do it through the emails myself. Well, it ain't just his life is worth more than the load he's pulling. His life is worth more than the profit that they're wanting to save on him pulling the load and not fixing his truck. It gets ridiculous. These damn corporations, they want to save all the money they can at the driver's expense. And remember, dude, if you get DOT'd and they write that truck up for all that bad stuff on the front, that's some big marks against your record. I mean, some big marks, big no-nos that will follow you for, 3 to 5 years, however long it stays on your CVSA score. To the company, it ain't even a drop of water in the pond. They wouldn't worry about that no more than a man in the moon. But for you, it can be life altering. It can cost you a job. 5 years, that's how long it's on, Mitch. So, this stuff you're talking about, it's really not small stuff. It really ain't. Not with the way they have it all set up today. And I was there not that long ago, because when I was with the rock and roll circuit, they had some trashy trailers. And I wound up getting inspected 2 or 3 times. And then I had a real good job I wanted to get, and they said, your CVSA score's too high. Say, what? Oh yeah, you got too many points. And all because of that company not wanting to fix the trailers. I quit that company. I came over here to this company. I ain't got a write-up in forever since I've been here, going on starting my 4th year. Chances are they didn't check it very good, and I totally understand what you're saying about you get into the mode of needing to make money. I totally understand, and so does any of the other old school drivers on here. We understand that needing to make the paycheck, but you've got to find that balance. You've got to find that fine line between risking your career or making money. Think about it. If you lose your CDLs and you get it so bad nobody will hire you, now which is better off? Making a smaller paycheck or making no paycheck? Well, that's what I'm saying, Brandon. That surprises me out of Schneider. I thought Schneider did real good upkeep on their equipment. That's what I'm saying. Something ain't quite right here, and I don't know what it is. What up, Andrew? No, I ain't on vacation. My truck's broke down. Oh, maybe tomorrow I'll start finding out something about it. But in the morning I got a doctor's appointment. Oh yay. I went ahead and set it up. Since I was off work, I figured I'd go get some of my stuff checked. It's part of trucking, man. Now, I'm starting my fourth year. I've just started my fourth year with this company. And this is the second time I've been broke down. I ain't gonna complain with that. And it ain't the company's fault. Neither time. First time I was shut down out in Phoenix for a week. That was the transmission on a Volvo. This time it's a DEF stuff and they think it's in the wiring. So I can't blame the company for that. And this DEF stuff, man, I mean just out of the blue. No warnings, no nothing, just all of a sudden it says maximum D rate. And that shuts you down like 5 miles an hour. It hadn't shut me down yet, so I made it about 4 or 5 miles up the road to a fuel stop. I stopped and maintenance said, well, I'll call your wrecker. He said, you ain't gonna go but 5 miles an hour. So, and they'll throw me some kind of bone. I don't know what they'll pay me for this shutdown time, or this breakdown time, but I'm quite certain they'll do something. Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying the other day, Brandon. They had like 6 trucks that I know of in the previous 5 or 6 days before me. But now down here where I was at, it wasn't cold. I mean, this happened down here by my house. It wasn't even freezing weather. It was wet. That old boy saying he thinks it was the moisture. He thinks me driving through so much water that it got some water in a wiring harness somewhere in a connection or whatever. And if that's the case and it's been sitting around not raining, nice weather, when this special tech gets in to do this stuff, is he going to be able to do what it was? Which is why they were saying they needed a special tech to decode the codes. Because he had like 3 pages of codes that it threw all at one time right there. I mean, it was less than every minute it was throwing codes at me. Then even whenever they got me to the repair yard, to the Peterbilt place, he dropped it, put the drive shaft back in it, and dropped it, and I had to pull around back to drop the trailer, and it was still throwing codes all the way back there and back up to the parking. So why was you shining on that? Told them you had pride in your ride? Well, I'll tell you, it's hard telling. Well, them other trucks ain't due to come in until like March. But yeah, with the issues he's been having, and I was trying to find out if they was all in the same group as mine, cause he buys trucks in groups, 4, 5, 10 at a time, whatever. So, and I couldn't find out. Oh. Uh-huh. Oh. Well, we got new people that's coming in, but they're not hitting the like button and they ain't hollering howdy at us. What up with that? They're just hanging in the background. Y'all hit that like button and say howdy. Join in on the conversation. If you ain't got nothing to say about this one, start another one. What you want to talk about? It ain't nothing but a shooting a bull session. Tom, what's going on, buddy? Have I seen you in here before? I don't think so. Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, I tried that, and Texas made me take my 10 off. If I didn't have a doctor's script, you can only go so dark. No, Mitch, his stuff was coming before Obama. Believe me, I would like to blame Obama. But no, he didn't do it. It actually, originally, in my opinion, it all actually comes from California and their nonsense out there. Well, welcome, Tom. Hit that like button for me, buddy. Obama would have done any and everything he could. He damn sure wouldn't have blocked it. You ain't one of them says I would drive for chrome, are you, Paul? I used to be addicted to chicken lights and chrome. I got over it. I'm much gooder now. I found out what? How was it we say that on the Harley? The chrome don't get you home. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, it's the tree huggers. You're right. That's stainless steel. That's not chrome, Brandon. Yeah, back in the day, you used to be able to find chrome shops everywhere. That old W9 I drove, I put some chrome on that bad boy. Oh. Well, Larry just did up a little bit of stuff on one of his trucks, and I told him, and it had the chicken lights. I told him I kind of like that. You can do that to mine, and he gave me a thumbs up. But now I was also told that with the way the tanks are on them Peter cars, then the way the lights are on the sleeper, that drivers were having issues putting fuel in there. I don't quite see that, but I'm not going to say they're wrong. So we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, we made it back up to 15, but they're still not hitting the like button. Tom was the last one to hit the like. Y'all holler howdy and hit the like button. That's a lot of chrome there, Brandon. Thank you. I seen somebody just hit it. Railroader, what's up? Well, now I know who hit the like button. He one of my old hands. He hits it on his way in. Brandon, have you got any of my links saved onto your computer yet? This would be a good time to put up a link to the t-shirts. Oh, believe me, they have wrote a couple songs about chicken lights and chrome. Yeah, you don't see too much stainless on a truck, a little bit. I know you did, Rail. What up, Shane? He's another one that hit that like button on his way in. Thank you. Okay. Remind me tomorrow. Shoot me a text or a phone call tomorrow. In the morning, I'll be at the doctor, so. Yeah, my truck's in the shop, so I'm getting a little time off. Starting to go stir crazy. Made a big old pot of chili today. Well, him or JJ, Carlos has fed JJ a little bit of the information. I think I'm 59 now. 58, 59, somewhere in there. It wasn't that great a chili. I tried some 3-alarm chili stuff instead of my regular. I normally use dadgummit, me and Grandma was just talking about it too. But I got another chili seasoning that I normally use, and I didn't use it this time. I wanted to try this new stuff. I wasn't impressed. Neither was she. I mean, it's edible. It's okay. But it ain't that great. Brandon, you wouldn't even like it, man. And I cooked it from dry beans. I don't use canned beans. I started soaking my beans last night, my pinto beans. I make my chili with pinto beans, not them red beans they like using. I started soaking them last night before I started that live stream. I put that chicken in the oven. I cleaned me some beans and started them to soaking. Then when I got up this morning, I turned them beans on. Then after they cooked up real good, then I started on my other stuff. McCormick, thank you. Yes, that's what I normally use is McCormick. And I didn't use it this time. Oh no, I don't do red kidney beans and chili. Well, come on over. It's only where you're at, about 700 miles. You could be back over there by midnight. Matter of fact, I need to go up there and or in there and dish some up to dish some up to go with me. Me and Grandma got talking about that yesterday. We sat around for 2 or 3 days eating leftovers, and then it was like, what am I going to take on the road with me? And she's like, I don't know. We went to the store yesterday. Uh-huh. I appreciate it, Mitch. Yeah, I like my pinto beans. But I use pinto beans in my dirty rice too, so you know. Pinto beans go good in anything. I hear you, Brandon. Here in a minute, I'm going to have to go over there and get one of them footstools. Mitch keeps piling it in here that deep. You go getting that all over Grandma's furniture, she'll get mad at you. TV kicked back on. I had it paused. Wonder if that is recording what I'm watching there. Nope. It is what it is. I ain't gonna sweat it a whole lot. Has anybody watched that Bad Chad Customs? I've seen the previews to some of it. Some of the rides he's making looks pretty interesting. But I got so tired of them car shows where they're building cars and a lot of them was doing nothing but adding parts on. Kind of like American Choppers. They did very little of really building bikes. They just added parts on it. All right, Rail. I didn't see you saying you was going. Thanks for coming in, man. God loves you, and so do I. Be careful. Get a lot of rest. Well, to me, that's an East Coast thing. See, I didn't say Yankee. That's the East Coast thing, putting them kidney beans in your chili. And it used to be when I stopped at a truck stop, I'd ask them when they had chili on there. You put kidney beans and red beans in your chili? Why, yes. Never mind. I'd order something. They thought I was crazy. Mitch, don't tease him like that. His wife's pregnant. He has to get home. Well, they still got a few stretches of nowhere up there. And you can gas on it. Slow down around their little towns, though. Oh. And I really didn't see too many of their, well, I didn't see any of their cops really out away from the towns. There was a couple of scale houses. Most of them that I seen was close to the border. Never did really get harassed up there. Yep. I used to be out there gassing on it. Northbound at a high rate of fuel. Yeah, anyway, I used to say a bunch of stuff on that radio. I used to have fun on that radio. So. Uh-huh. Well, you really don't see a whole lot of them up there in Canada. Around their towns. Then I never really seen them harassing trucks. But then again, most of them was behaving around town. Well, folks, I just came on to harass you for a little bit. We've been over an hour and a half. So I'm about to get off of here. That's right. And yes, I used to have the rubber chicken. Now, 16 grandkids. I think we're done with children. No, it is what it is. Oh yeah. Well, see, I used to, I used to be that guy. No. Well, you want to see some? I made a few fellers mad with that. So, yeah, there's a few little stories I could tell. Well, Tom, I try to do them most every night, man. I don't make it every night, but I try to. Yeah, up there they were. Yeah, go get your chicken. Get the chicken mobiling. Yeah, might be more than a brake adjustment, Josh, but that's a good start. Good job, young man. Call them out on it. And if it continues to do it, you stop at the next Schneider yard and tell them that you've got a popping in that front end. They adjusted the brakes, but it's still doing it. Stay on top of them. This stuff will hang a truck driver, dude. This is the whole reason that we have all these new laws these last few years, was to hold the company's toes to the fire and make them fix stuff. The company used to say, oh, it's them greedy truck drivers out there that just want to make a lot of money and they don't want to stop to get it fixed. And that was crockable. It was true to a degree, but we still tried to get the stuff fixed. And the companies didn't want to fix it. So you're doing right. You just got to follow up on it, dude. Follow up on it. All right, folks, with that, I'm going to get out of here. Thank y'all for coming in. I appreciate it. And y'all remember, God loves you. So do I. Y'all enjoy your evening. Go get a t-shirt. Go check out that God Loves You t-shirt Little Joe made today. It's awesome. Y'all will love it. Good night now.